I'm Dan. And
I'm Nick, folks. Yeah. Together we form
the
UnPanderers.
UnPanderers.
Panders. That's us, folks.
And if you're listening, you're an umper. What we like to call you.
Hey, umpers. Yous. Not all yins. Is that incorrect?
Y'alls.
If you say yin, is that bad? Like you're from a part of Pennsylvania that kind of a trash hole.
Yous guys.
Yins. No yins.
Yins is
That's what yinsers are.
Oh, yinsers? That's what they're called?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know who they are?
I never heard them called that before, actually.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh Penguins fans. They literally, a lot of them eat trash. Not because they're like poor. I mean, they are poor, but they can afford food. They prefer the taste of garbage. It's fascinating.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me, actually.
I know. It's kind of a Western PA thing. They actually say they used to filter the Three River beer, I forget what it's called.
Huh.
Now they don't even filter it. It's like it just comes in through like a garbage can. They stick it in there and they throw it in bottles.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard they have like farm to table and then back to table restaurants.
Yeah. That's when their families get together. There, Dan. Let's keep it PG here for the podcast. We're just having some fun out there. Before we get started, we would like to say
your team is dying. Don't worry, in 5 years they won't be able to compete.
I give them 3. Okay?
3 years? Okay.
Salary cap at you. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
It's going to creep up. Huh?
Good. I like it.
We would like to say, before we get real serious here, is that we at the UnPanderers, we don't condone anything said in herein, any of the opinions, any disseminations. Do you want to add to this? Any other things?
We can't give you any afflictions, no diseases. This is digital. We're going to share everything we can through this medium.
Everything.
But it doesn't reflect anything we think or mean. Nothing.
And we're not all mediums. Not all of us. This medium, though.
Yeah.
This medium.
I'm more. That's girth.
They call him the magical tree trunk, tree stump. I don't know which it would be.
Is there an in between? Like if you lose the top of a tree, what is that? Still is that the stump? It starts to branch off. That's a good question. We talked about this in a previous podcast.
Did we?
About the guy with 2.
Oh yeah. Good friend of the podcast, actually.
Yeah, we don't know.
Shout out, Diplo.
Oh, that's it. Diplo is his sandal.
It begins with P. That's for damn sure. It begins and ends with P. It doesn't always. Another thing we like to say here at the UnPanderers is we're not for the 18 and under crowd.
Oh yeah, not for the youngins.
I mean, that was clearly obvious.
Yeah.
And we stated it, if you didn't hear a minute ago.
We state it every time.
Every single time, folks at home.
And if you don't hear it, you got to go through every episode just to make
Listen
sure.
For it.
Just deluge those views on top of both of us. we really need it.
I would love to get covered in views. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been following the Flyers too much, and I didn't realize that they had the second pick in the draft.
Nolan Patrick? Yeah.
Which is
he's gonna be a stud.
He's the best pick from what I read.
Yes. He was consensus number 1 for like a year, and then he had that sports hernia, and he missed part of the year, and the Black Horse showed up, the Finnish?
Yeah,
Nico Hershey. I forget where he's from. Swedish.
He's like 30 pounds lighter and like an inch shorter.
Okay. Real good.
Yeah. Devils.
Anyway, he showed up out of nowhere. What's funny is because I ruled out that we weren't going to get the guy I wanted. I really wanted Nolan Patrick. And I was like, they're going to take him because he's number 1 pick. They're going to do it. And he's bigger, he's stronger, and he's probably going to have a better career. So I said, I'm going to pretend my hardest that Nico Hershey is going to be the better player. And I read all these articles that were pro Nico, and I would be like, yeah. But I was like faking it. And so when they picked him first, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Woo! I don't have to pretend we had the right choice. Woo! We got the number 1 pick. So there you go, folks.
Have you ever been at like a Redbox and picking out a movie, and you're like, you don't know if you want this one or that one. and then you're like, okay, I'll flip a coin, and you say heads.
And
by the time it lands, you're like, I don't want it to be heads.
and then or the other way around, like it goes tails, and you're like, I should play best out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then you flip again, and you're like, yeah, I'm getting the other one. There was no reason for the coin flip.
Yeah, it was the decision point that really made you push yourself towards a direction.
There's probably a word for that. There's a word for everything, isn't there?
I don't know.
Do you think that's one of the deep sorrows or the
dictionary
whatever
of obscure sorrows you're mentioning?
Probably in there.
Yeah.
Good friends of the podcast, actually. We should plug them. Hey, if you like us, check these guys out. They're a little-known podcast, I know, but I hope they get a lot of overflow views from us.
Overflow and flows. I'm actually looking. I made a list of all of the dictionary of obscure sorrows because I want to do that as one of our episodes. So I'm reading if there's anything.
Sounds like you have a mental disorder, but yeah. That's why I like you.
Yeah, I'm doing all the research here.
Are they alphabetized? Damn it!
You got
my words tonight. I'm getting tripped up on my own tongue. Folks, I just came back from vacation number 3 or something, and they're not all week-long vacations. They're all like 4-day pieces. So that's how we have so many of them, I guess. Mm-hmm. I just got finished like a 3-day weekend or a 4-day weekend a week ago, and then I did 4 days of work, and then I did 5 days of vacation, and it's just messing with me because it's like you drink too much, you do this too much, you gotta get back and do an awful podcast with someone you don't even like. I do a different one.
Yeah. Thank God.
Love this. This one's a good one.
That one sucks.
Yeah, that one's garbage. Show my brother-in-law the podcast. He's like, oh, yeah. His name's Justin. I don't know if you know him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can say his first name, whatever the hell I want. Yeah.
I met him,
yeah. Yeah. He a hockey player.
I know. It's not bad.
That's the way to go.
So he actually watched an episode?
Like 5-10 minutes. We're all drinking. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And then we talked about some of our favorite podcasts. He's the one who recommended one of the guys from the league is in a podcast with a couple other guys, and they do what I texted you. They literally just watch bad movies, take notes, and come back and talk about the movie in super depth. And that's what their episode. I don't remember the name of it, but it sounded really good, and I would check it out. Friend of the podcast, actually.
Yeah, if we had more time, I think we would be able to do that.
Right. It requires a little bit too much time, and it's been done before now, so it's.
Yeah,
I don't like sloppy seconds.
I kind of want to try to do what we do right now, but do it while we play video games, because I don't think that we'd miss that much. We might be we might have pauses, but.
Well, do you want to.
Destiny 2.
It's already out.
Not for a computer yet.
Oh, okay.
October 20-something. 4th.
Oh, it is going to be PC? Maybe I'll give it a go. I've never played the Destiny. I never played it.
Neither have I. And a bunch of people in my office are trying to get there.
Look at this guy.
They're trying to make me buy a PS4. And I was like, ooh, that's like $300.
And you also realize you're between systems almost.
Yeah, the next system's going to come out.
Feel the crest coming. We're already cresting. There's no need unless you got a super deal on a PS4. Mm-hmm. Unless Sony would like to sponsor the UnPanderers, in which case, buy a PS4, folks.
Oh, man. Your words. Now you have to say after me, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum?
Yes, I got a word you can't say.
Got it. That's all right. There's a few words I can't say. And they're on this podcast.
All 4 or 5
They're
of them.
all directed to Dan at the podcast. Let's do a smirk or smile break it up here. Let's just say
you got one loaded? Ready?
Yeah, sure. It's a smirk, like an old person smirk.
Old person smirk. Add an old person, or like you feel like an old person?
I'm an old person.
Okay, give it a go.
So about 8 years ago, however the hell old I was back then, in my 20s, hanging out with this guy on the river. He's got a cool boat. It's like a river boat right in the Delaware River. I figured this is hick stuff I can't handle. I did it. It was pretty awesome. You're chilling on the boat. He's got a wakeboard. Everyone's doing it. They got life jacket vests. I've never done anything like this before. He says, try it. So I try. I can't get up because, like, when the boat takes off, you're supposed to just, like, hold on and put your feet out, and all this water comes rushing at you, and I don't know what the hell to do, so I just wing it, and eventually you lose grip because you can't hold on when the boat goes fast enough.
Are you supposed to,
So,
I've never done it before, but I would assume you have to, tilt the board straight up. Maybe.
That's what I think. And I think you get that far, and then at one point you're supposed to press the water down with your kind of while you're straightening your body. It's one of those things where you can describe like skating or whatever, but you have to do it. You just do
push your feet to the side, and
right. But you also there's angles and weight shifts and stuff. You can't even explain. You just naturally do it.
It's like they try to tell you to stop when you're like you gotta turn sideways and then like try to touch your butt to the ice, and it's like that doesn't.
Right. That's not how I do it. Right. You put it a different way in your head. Anyway, second time around, I did it. And I got up on the board, and I was like, I was just hanging on for dear life, like smiling at people, waving, just hoping I didn't trip. And eventually you just trip and you go down. Well, my other brother-in-law, we'll call him Jim, he was out, and we were out in like the Chesapeake Bay, off Delaware. One of the bays off Delaware. Mm-hmm. Fill me in later. And he goes, yo, who wants to wakeboard? And I was like, I wakeboarded before. It was like 8 years later. The one time I wakeboarded. So we tried, and first time I couldn't get up, and everybody's on the boat. And, I'm like, oh, that hurt. Like, it really hurt my shoulder and everything. And I was like, just do it again, do it again, do it again. So I'm doing it, and I'm holding on, and I decided I wasn't going to let go. Like, that was my thing. Even if it just dragged me in a weird way. Well, that's also impossible. I think just at 20-some mile an hour, your body lets go.
Yep.
So I can't do it. We tried 3-4 times. Now everyone in the boat feels bad for me.
And you get that sullen look on all their faces.
Yeah. Right, but they don't want to put you down.
Yeah, they're so
No, they're like this. They're like, you can do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it one more time. And I'm like, I don't want to do it one more time. But everybody's being so nice, you have to. So we did it like a 5th time or a 6th time, and I'm just trying. But at this point, I have no grip in my arms. I'm just like, I'm like this. And as soon as they take off, I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. So eventually, the shame of failure kicks in, and you go over, and everyone's still having a good time and everything. And I was like, this sucks. It's 5 days later now. I still have no grip strength because I tore these things. But it was funny. I knew I messed up because I'm on the boat, and I wanted to Snapchat or text someone or do something cool that I always do on my phone. And I was like, I can't move.
Has that happened to you before?
I really hurt the first time I did it 7 or 8 years ago, and it lasted for 2 or 3 days. But I feel like this is worse, and I'm 8 years older, and I didn't even get up, so I didn't have that feeling of victory to buoy me. So now I'm just my lower back sore because it's like one of those activities if you snowboard for the first time in 8 years, all of a sudden your abs hurt, your back hurts, your leg hurts,
all the weird muscles you never used.
Right. So I got olded up real quick, and I can't play bass. I can't. If a girl from the UnPanderers wanted me to give her the old hand business, I couldn't give her a finger. I couldn't whatever. I can't. It sucks. I can't do anything. Nothing.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I was going to bring up snowboarding because the first time I tried, I fell repeatedly backwards, landing on my wrists.
Oh, you did? Really? You were back falling a lot?
Yeah. Well, I knew how to not fall forward, so I did backwards the whole time.
I was falling forward a lot because I was trying to hunch over to stay up. Did your abs and stuff hurt?
No. It's just that my hands did the same thing that your hands did. That you get this weird pain, it's got to be in the wrist. Mm-hmm. That's got to be all the nerves get kind of tense and puffed up. The same thing happens when you box. If you box without wrapping your hands, and you do it too much, and then you can't move these fingers first, the outer.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, these are the ones that I have the most trouble with right now.
Yeah,
weird, interesting.
I don't know the physiological thing behind it, but it's probably the nerves are most sensitive or something. Yeah, I'm a doctor.
Celebrity challenge. Me and Dan will snowboard against
Celebrity challenge.
Celebrity challenge, everyone. It's that time of day, folks. Bring in your family, bring in your loved ones. You're going to hear the one and only Celeb Challenge. You hear me? You dig me, folks? Well, here it is. The guy who plays Newman in Seinfeld and the guy who may have been called racist in Seinfeld, Kramer.
Oh, Kramer. Kramer's called racist.
Michael Richards. Anyway, it's a redemption for him, and it's also a coming out party for Newman. Me and Dan challenge him to a snowboard off.
They're getting kind of old. I don't know if they'll be able to do that.
That's the only reason I'm challenging them. Come on.
We'll be on snowboards, but they can be on any medium, like a inner tube, if they want
like
to
a snowmobile.
Snowmobile. That'd be so unfair. But we'd still beat them.
I don't know, man. Snowmobile. I was just going with I'm adequate on a snowboard. Like I can go down a mountain without looking like a jackass.
If you were going down a mountain on a snowmobile, I don't think you can turn because it's going to roll and crush you. So they got to go pretty slow.
You saying Newman's using it because he's fat?
I'm saying they could both be using it because Seinfeld's an old show now. It's like 20 or 30 years old, right? When
did it originally air? 97? I don't know. I'm making that up, but it sounds like a real year.
Early 90s is probably.
Yeah, 97.
91.
Okay.
I'm going to say 91. Someone in the comments, please.
Clarify who was more right.
Yeah.
Give them.
This is not Price is Right rules, by the way. Because that would not favor me.
Yeah, it would.
Actually, no, wait, let's make it Price is Right.
No, it's not.
Shit.
Yeah, it would. Anyway, so if I do a lot of stretching, it's because I tried to wakeboard, folks. Ooh, although I did paddleboard.
Oh.
Have you ever done that?
No.
That's the one you stand on and you have the paddle, like the long man's paddle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a surfboard.
So you can see the sharks as they come up around you?
No. When I did it, it was real funny. I have no balance whatsoever. So I fell the first 2 times I was just trying to stand up on it. And the third time, I just managed to the whole time my whole body was shimmying forward and backwards at the same time. And I was just holding on to the thing. And I was like 30, 40, now 50 yards away from where I started and like going into the ocean. And everyone's like, turn around. I'm like, I'm just trying to balance. Don't worry about me. So someone, Justin came out with a kayak and he's like, can I just attach to your thing? And I was like, yeah, I've been fine, dude. Yeah. He rode me back towards shore. And at that point I figured out what I was doing. But the whole time I was just like standing still like a statue, just letting the tide take me wherever the hell it wanted.
That's like the first time getting back on like skis. Like
yeah,
after
same
years,
idea, I guess.
You get off. You have to get off the lift at the very top, and you're like, oh my god,
don't fall, please. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. Oh my god, that 6-year-old girl's coming pretty quick. Oh my god, get away from me, she devil. Mm-hmm.
You can be the guy that pushed the little girl off the edge of the cliff.
Just shove her. My baby. I don't know, man. She just fell. She fell.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they like. What's the legal precedent for if they were to charge you for the murder, and you're just like, I don't know how to ski. They'd have to make you ski to prove. Please put on the glove, and then he'd be like, and the poles.
It doesn't fit, sir. Yeah. You must acquit. Damn it! Wasn't him.
I don't know how to ski, and you're just like, somehow you ski and you're convicted to life in prison.
I guess it'd be like some kind of manslaughter thing. Because I mean, if you don't know how to drive but you run someone over, that's pretty much murder too. I'm not sure. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Let's put it in the comments.
Comment section below,
all the
folks.
Lawyers out there, all those voyeur lawyers who are looking in on the show.
The war lawyers themselves. Ooh, refreshing. Feel better as we go.
Yeah, that straw. Just get it moving. Loosen up your blood vessels.
Mm-hmm.
Good stretching going on.
Actually, very tight. I'm an old man now.
Yeah, it's sad because your son's going to be athletic, and then you'll be like, "You're doing great," and you'll be 20 feet behind him, losing.
No, I'm going to be the dad trying to beat him and everything still. And anytime he does squarely beat me, I'll claim he's cheating or something. Yo, whoa. I wasn't ready. Dad, you said shoot it 10 times in a row. Yeah, I was getting ready to shoot it 11th time. You shot it early. Did you do that all the time?
Yeah, I love that.
On the ice, right?
Yeah.
No, I know the reference, but I'm saying that's literally my favorite thing to yell when I'm playing hockey with people. Shoot! You just yell it anywhere, and people laugh, or ignore you if you're on their team for more than like 3 games.
Yeah. I do this thing where I kind of like grunt. I get excited. I'm like, oh, and then like all the guys on the bench are like, what the hell's wrong with that guy? And then it's that's good. Great save. That was a great save.
Oh, I just love what happened out there, folks.
I usually just go to the end of the bench and curl up.
Yeah. Go. All right. Little smirks. We did some smiles.
I could do a little smirk smile. I got a quick one.
Oh, you got one? Let's see it.
So at work, they're setting up the microphones, and because they have like a little like auditorium thing in the middle. So they have like one microphone, and they're trying to get a second one to work at the same time. So the group of IT people were conferring, and I walk up and I say, you could do like stereo mix where you could have both playing through the stereo mix, and you just listen to the stereo mix. And then they're like all looking like, oh, it's a good idea. And then at the end, I said, I podcast.
Did they ask for the podcast, or they just said thanks?
No, they don't care about the podcast at all. I'm finding that most people don't.
No. Well, think of it. 6 months ago. Yeah, 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. Someone says, oh, by the way, I podcast. You're like, oh, that's good for you.
Yeah.
That's what you think. You're like, I'm glad at you.
Yeah.
You didn't ask for the name of it. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Good for you.
I guess most of the people don't believe that I guess they believe they're not going to be interested in whatever you're saying. Because I guarantee I think older people probably don't care. They know what they know, and they don't need to know anymore.
Or they're not interested in the, would you be interested in the podcast by 16-year-olds?
Probably not. But if it was
right. I mean, we don't know what it's about. I'm just guesstimating. Probably not.
The odds are no. But if they were like us, I think us at 16 would be a little more immature. We'd be talking about a lot more sexual things. But I think it'd still be interesting.
It would be. But I also think we're outliers as far as at 16, maybe? Maybe even now. So too, yeah. Maybe now also. Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Is your hair still going out? Is this like a hair contest or something?
I don't know. My
barber died.
The flood actually took out the person's house that does my hair. So
touchy subject.
So we have to let her come back to us to tell us when we can go.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. That's weird. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Yes.
I was picking up the pieces down there. Are people, are they picking up them pieces? Is everyone going back to work by now or not?
Well, it's a weird dichotomy because you have most of the people at my work are fine. There's only like a few that actually had their houses just, but like certain sections of town are completely fine too. But other ones, like there's a mile away, if you go a mile north and a mile to the east, like that whole town is like elevation-wise, like 5 feet below mine. Every single house. You just drywall, wood, floorboards, all sorts of stuff, carpet. All that stuff is like on the curbs. You're like dodging it in the street, going left and right, trying to weave through it.
Can you give us a sad humanitarian thing? Is there like still posters of like lost kitten, lost dog, and you're like it's dead?
I
like you can't say that to them, but like it's like, lady, it flooded for like days.
I hear stories of people finding puppies and kittens, and they're like displaced by the storm. But the way I hear it is like they're street kittens, and I need to find them a home, and then they take them in and they steal them essentially because I think they were someone's pet.
Like they just got out of the house, they got in the storm, something happened, and now they're someone else's pet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
interesting. Oh, that's rough.
I'm gonna pause here for station identification. This is not an envelope. Do not look at it. But it is orange.
Folks, would you like me to know a little something about what I do with my everyday life?
Ooh, everyday life? Is this a new segment? What's going on here?
No, this is... I'm a guy. A lot of you are guys. A lot of you could be girls, too.
51%
That's not a problem.
of the population is men.
I thought it was 49.
You think it's more female?
Yeah. Maybe that's just the U.S.
It doesn't feel that way.
No, I feel like it's 51% female. I think that's the U.S.
Yeah, really? Maybe it is more.
I think it was 1% more female. No, this probably changes every year. Okay.
Do you think that's by design? Do you think it's really not a 50% chance? It's really a 51% chance they become female? Because that would make more sense, right?
I guess. Physiologically.
Ironically.
How many syllables can make that word? Well, folks at home, before I was sidetracked by some...
I apologize.
This can apply for men. It can apply for women. Sometimes you're just really feeling dirty. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, yeah, you know that feeling. Mm-hmm. Your tummy's on fire. Your fingertips get that weird electric buzz. The light behind your eyes intensifies. You've got the human horny. And the only cure? Trojan's got it. What I've noticed here is Trojan makes a little condom called Ultra Ribbed. This bad boy expires in 2018. Let's just say it's not going to make it. Well, folks, when it comes to protection from the other sex and from your own sex, woohoo, nobody beats Trojan. They're triple layered. It's a latex. Most of it's hypoallergenic. Could be totally fine. You put this bad boy on. You slip it on. You give it the old heave-ho. Mighty, mighty mo. 1, 2, 3. Safety first. That's what I'm saying. It really is the finest brand, though. I mean, you can trust it. It's the highest rated contraceptive. And it's affordable. Folks, just go to your local store. I picked up an 86-pack for $39.
Wow.
$39. I've probably gone through 40 of them. Let's say I'm kind of a lucky guy. Next week, I plan on using one with a girl.
That's great.
Like I'm saying, folks, Trojan, the world's most trusted condominium on the market.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
I find them a little pricey, so I have a discount method that I use. It comes in a roll, and all you have to do...
I thought you were going to say saran wrap. That's duct tape, dude. That doesn't sound safe at all. That sounds awful.
Well, sticky side out.
Is that to catch any sperm to get out there?
Yeah.
Bring them back?
A natural delubricant.
Delubricant. Wow. Woo!
Oh, we can't. Okay. We can't use this one. Maybe we can. I don't know. I did get a tear. There was a tear there.
That's natural lubrication.
Lubrication. Yeah. That's part of the two-step process. That's the second
Nature's
step.
lubricant.
Yeah.
Now, for real, I have to find that condom I just threw. Holy hell will be raised if someone I date finds a condom in this room.
Yeah, that's the fear, right?
It's my greatest fear, actually, right now.
Once you move past a certain phase, you can't have old
random condoms laying around. Nope. We moved way past random condoms laying around. First question is going to be, whose is this? That answer becomes extremely, extremely important.
Yeah,
Jorge? My friend Jorge?
I guess it kind of reverts back. Everything kind of is cyclic, right? So in 10
when your
years,
parents would find it, right?
Yeah.
You'd be all nervous. Oh, I hope my mommy doesn't find it. Now you're like, oh Christ, my girlfriend found it.
Now you got
my wife of 15 years. Blaming him.
Son, you have to hold on to these for a while. And when I ask you for one, don't mention it. Ever.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to make it awkward. Nope, we're good.
We're good, okay.
We're good.
So, I'm holding up an envelope again. So we're going on to the next segment called, you do a scenario or situation?
Oh, that's interesting. Whoa, biceps. This guy hitting the gym or what? Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah,
welcome back, sunlight. Man, Texas. I wish I could make an anti-muscle so it would look smaller than even it usually does. But
man, that'd be
like a.
Huh.
It is interesting though. That in early cartoon world, that was literally the whole thing for strength. If you were strong, your bicep had like 6 biceps on top of it, and if you were weak, your bicep went in the wrong direction.
Yep.
Yeah, it went this way.
Classic
oftentimes. Yep. You know what that tells me? A lot of cartoon artists were glam muscle fools.
Do you need like a facial warm up? You need to do like
Someone's got to come over here and just poke me here, 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 over here, a little slappy here. Get me all awake.
Do those condoms have model numbers on them? An ISBN?
I don't know. I did have expiration and like a lot number. I don't know what the lot stands for, where it's made, so they know who the culprit is. I don't know.
So I don't really have a situation or a scenario.
I did.
Oh, hit me.
Okay, this is a straightforward one. This is literally rock jock in Delaware radio question. So it's like cookie cutter. They probably heard it somewhere and just ran with it.
Okay.
It was question of the day, folks.
Oh.
Would you rather be really ugly and a genius, or really, really hot, but you're a total idiot? And I was like, that's the dumbest question ever. I'm not sure. It's like, let's see.
So
ignorance is bliss.
What are the odds? Because you compare the two,
they didn't
really,
say.
really attractive.
They didn't say what it got up to. Right. Super attractive.
So it's
like it wasn't like supermodel hot, what I gathered from it.
It wasn't, or it was?
It was. I gathered that you were so attractive that you could probably make a living from it.
And you're assuming
but I also gathered,
male, right? So it's a male's dream.
Well, it's a question to anyone, but I'm asking you. Ben.
So that I am a male. I think the odds are what? You have sex for like crazy amounts of sex?
Well, you could parlay that into jobs and stuff.
Favors.
Oh.
You could just stand there and people could take pictures of you and they'd pay you.
Sounds like a statue. That's called a statue. Yeah, she was very statue. She's very statue-y. There's a word for that. Yeah, statue-y.
Statutory.
Very statutory. He's hanging around younger women.
Yeah. So that sounds pretty good, actually. And the other
I thought it was the stupidest question in the world. Yeah. I was like, actually, a good question.
But the
other one sounds like you're really ugly. Like no one's even going to throw. Like people are afraid to throw rocks at you because the rock might come back deformed. But you're really smart. Like you're a genius.
See, the problem is you have to.
Here's the thing. I looked at it this way. First, I looked at it career-wise. You could probably make good money either way, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Really good enough. You could be a male model.
I mean, easier path to being the model, I think.
I don't know. If you're really a genius, you'll probably just play the market or do whatever. Like, really a genius. You'd find some way. Math. I don't know. And you don't have to be seen by the public if you're really
You have to be like the number one genius. Like, you're the smartest guy in the world.
Let's give you a top 10. Sure. I'm not going to give you number one.
You'd be battling all the other geniuses, though. Some other geniuses would already be there.
Yeah, but all those geniuses, all the dudes on the Discovery Channel that show up for all the interviews, the Chinese guy, I don't know what he is. Gray hair dude, Asian, he has the long hair. Shows up on all the star shows, and then there's the woman who like gets way too excited for stars. And then we realized it was a quasar. You know what I'm talking about?
I understand the notion of who they are.
Yeah. They all make enough money, you think?
I don't know.
They're all six figs. They're all six figs. Come on. Do you think?
So I work in a very sciencey environment, and I see all these people that essentially have flaws because they believe in science more than anything.
I didn't say flaws. This guy's an asshole. So hold on. What are you saying?
So there's people that I'm gonna say this in like a very general way. Is that most of the companies that are like engineering wise, they seem like they're searching for people who are personality wise driven to just keep working and keep chugging and not ask for raises and focus on the science of things. Like if they can find one of those people, then they're golden. So
ant worker.
Yeah, essentially.
Incredibly smart ant worker.
Yeah. So if you're that smart, you might actually be driven to not work for money and try to achieve something, but you can still fail at that. So that would really crush you, right?
Are you saying like Newton?
I guess
smart.
I don't know. Like one of the
Did you come up with a new theory?
What about like Turing?
Didn't they? But didn't Newton fail and a lot of these other guys fail because their theories aren't accepted for like 50 years? By then they're dead, aren't they?
That's another thing. It's like being an artist. Like you don't reap the benefits of anything you do. till later.
Then again, that says a lot of what you want in your life. Sorry to say to the podcast, but Dan here wants immediate gratification in his lifetime.
Instantaneous gratification. Whenever I want it. Right now.
I'll be wearing an ultra ribbed.
Yeah. Sorry to get on. But what were we talking about?
It's harder to get off too.
Oh,
boring.
But if you're the smartest guy in the world, you can make a bunch of money, but that's not going to That's not going to be what drives you. You're going to want to be like the forefront of something, but then you'd still be teaching all these idiots who don't believe you. So you're talking to the male model who's getting laid all the time, and you're like, you're an idiot. You got to do this or you'll die. And the male model's like,
what you're saying is the male model will be happier.
He'll be happier, yeah. So I think I'll pick the male model.
Interesting. Now, he's dumb as hell, so he doesn't even know he's reaping benefits, too. He's pretty happy, but he's not necessarily happier than everyone else.
I'd rather be the sensory guy, because...
Yeah? You like that pleasure?
Yeah.
Is your feet getting fuzzy or something?
My feet getting fuzzy? It's, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait a second. I got a connection problem. Hold on, I'm trying to get the call back. You're still there.
Do you want to... Here. Now, well, you hate breaking the episode up or not?
Breaking it up. Yeah, you need a pause?
All right.
I'm okay. I'm good though. I'm good.
I don't need. No, you're still fuzzy though. Like really fuzzy. Like you look like less than what's under 240? 188p.
Huh? That bad, huh?
Is it?
Yeah, I think. I see you okay. I can keep going.
Yeah. So does that mean it's my connection or yours?
I have no idea. It's probably mine. It's probably the upload.
Hold on. It could be. Oh. Connection. Here we go. We're getting back. All right. We good. Okay, you're back.
It's going to have my address on the back of that, but shit. I got to make sure I cut that out.
Pause and
pause.
Found him. Triple pause.
Okay. There we go.
Well, folks.
Ooh.
That's smart.
Ooh. Let's bring it back to the word of the day. Actually, it's words of the moment, actually, because...
Holy crap! Because that's copyrighted.
Yeah, I think it is copyrighted. Plus, I like word of the moment more. Or word of the podcast.
Ooh.
I actually have two. So
let's hear one.
I came up...
I just said one. You can give me both. I don't care. I was just being there.
I said... I came up with this today. So I was thinking about, like, forecasting. Like, before you cast, you have to forecast. So it's kind of like foreplay. So before you podcast. So you got to get ready for the podcast, which I forgot. I was going to tell you to get into it, get into the zone, say all the words you can't say, and spit it out.
So instead of forecast for weather, it's forecast before you podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Did you make it up or it's a real word?
I made it up.
Oh, we have to make up these words?
No. I'll just throw this out because I don't want to lose it because it's so good that
I kind of like it. I like it. I like that you don't want... You want to keep it forever, and it's important to you and everything else, and I just think it's okay for the folks at home.
It's just average.
Yeah. No, I like it. I do like it.
Got to use it in a sentence, but I'm not going to. But the real word I was going to say, obsequious. Do you know what obsequious means?
Impossible to see through? I'm not sure.
No, that's what word are you thinking of? Opaque, yeah.
Opaque, thank you.
Obsequious is like servitude to like a ridiculous level. Like you're beyond indentured to somebody.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So what I was thinking about, those scientists that are working really hard for a goal and not getting paid for it, they're obsequious because they're not working for the money which the company should be paying them.
Makes sense. It makes sense. I like that word. Yeah. Well, is that the proper definition? Like, is it like to the point of foregoing your own future health, future livelihood for the good of the greater good of so or X? Interesting.
Excessive servitude. Let's soak in there. You got another word? You're thinking about a word?
No, I took a BDSM test, like the bondage, whatever sex test. Oh, no, I was just bored. I was looking at someone I follow posted. They're like, "This is my results," and I was like, "What are you?" And they're like a voyeur and something, and I was like, "This is stupid." So I took the test, and you said like servitude of some weird amount, and I was like, maybe it's regular questions, and make you see if you're into different things, like sexually. Like, whoa, like I was bored sitting there. I was like, let me take this test. And it was like, do you like getting yelled at and demeaned incredibly during sex without respect and something? And it was like a really long sentence, and I was like, no, not really.
Truthful.
I was like, no. And then like it would be like one of the other questions like, do you love watching people have sex without their consent and something? And I was like, not really. And then like I realized that it wasn't so much a quiz, so much it was just the definitions of the sexual perversions being asked. So I was like, well, that didn't do anything for me, you know? I was like, you know. But one of them was like, do you wish to obey willing servitude to a master and, you know, be whatever? And I was like, not really.
The problem is when you say it, I have pictures somebody wearing like a leather mask, like behind their own screen, being like, oh, please say yes. Please say yes.
But like
a little red pin drops down on your house when you say yes.
Yes. But it just seemed like the questions were like, usually you try and rope someone in, like, do you want to get whipped or something? And it's like, whoa, some girls would be like, yes. This was like, do you want to obey your master and be servitude toward the highest degree? And I was like, this is a bit much. And I was like, I don't know who's answering these questions, yes, but they're already there. They don't need the quiz. You know what I mean?
Have you ever heard of that website where you fill out a form of what you like and it's directed at somebody and it obfuscates. It doesn't tell them what you like, but they answer the same quiz, and then the answers that match up, it'll like summarize it and just say you both like this, which you didn't know about before.
It's almost like Tinder, isn't it?
I mean, it's not about meeting people. It's somebody you already know. So you'd be married to the person, and you're just like trying to find their inner like desire. So naturally, I checked yes on everything to see what would show up.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's good, dude.
She didn't like any of it, so.
Wait, so she checked no
on everything because she knew what I would do.
Damn.
Smart. Man. She's a smart one.
That's smart. That was smart on your part. I wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah. Man. You got to find it out. Ooh, good times.
You were like setting up the home run pitch. Yeah. Like, right down the middle.
The pitch never comes.
You sat there. They were just the pitcher never threw one. Not even one. Interesting. Weird.
The bulk. Take your base.
I know we don't always do this, but this is a quick celebrity shout out.
Who shout out? The challenge or just a shout out?
No, just a shout out to our boy. I think he listens to the podcast. I can't prove it. Either way, he'd be welcome to appear on it once, whatever. Reese Hoskins for the Phillies. You know what he's done?
No, I don't know what he's done.
So he's been in the big leagues for 38 games now. 39 tonight. I don't know. The game's not over. He's hit 18 home runs.
Wow.
It's never been done in MLB history, to my knowledge. I think the next, when he hit his 15th, it was like 31 games in or something. And the next closest was like the person, like, you know, I want to say Ted Williams, or I don't know. They have all these names. Baseball stats are crazy. But there were like 3 Hall of Fame players who hit their 15th home run by like their 58th at bat, their 60th game, 58th game, 54th game, something like that. And he's like 31 games. And I was like, ooh.
Huh. So I guess the stadium's packed. And what's the record? There's 162 games, right? So like the number of home runs in a season.
Yeah. Do you know the controversy? I'm looking it up as we speak.
I can see the light just like
yeah.
The roiding of McGuire and Barry Bonds.
Aaron Sosa. No, Sosa. On record. I'm looking it up.
I thought it was like 72 home runs.
It's 2. I think it is 72. People are like calling us idiots, but we're baseball guys, so.
It's funny.
Record chase 70. Sosa finished with 66. Oh, that was breaking the record. So yeah, it probably ended on. Jesus Christ! I don't need the whole story.
Yeah,
just number people.
Fact I'm looking for.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Oh, it looks like it's just 70. I thought it was 72 as well. Weird.
Huh.
We talked about the my favorite record, right? The rookie goal record.
Ice hockey.
Yeah.
I don't know that well, it could be DePita.
I thought we talked. I just talked about someone.
Or is it the whole season?
No, whole season. Rookie season. Nope.
Ooh, I don't know who it is. Who might it be?
He played in 81 games, His name's Timu Solani. You want to guess how many goals he scored a year?
Oh, he was up around like 1 for 1.
Close.
It's like 80-something goals.
Nah, 72 goals his rookie year. Either way, that's my favorite hockey record, I think, because it's not a Gretzky record. The Gretzky ones, we did discuss the Gretzky ones. I remember being like 212, I think, or something.
Yeah, I think it was actually 215, but the season you're talking about was 212.
Oh, okay.
Some ridiculous amount of points. But Solani, didn't they have fewer games back then?
I think he did 80 in that season, or 81.
It's amazing what they could do. I don't know if it was like an easier way to score back then, or like goalies were easier.
Goalies were worse, I imagine. They didn't even have butterfly, did they?
I don't know that they did or not.
Kind of coming in.
It's easier to slip them drugs beforehand.
Well, a lot of players will get drunk like the day before. Like, you know what I mean? I guess sports have changed in general that way.
There's also like the delta from being like a regular athlete, so a pro, and then a pro who can actually make money in their sport. Because like like my grandfather, when he played pro ball, he didn't make any money playing pro ball.
Wait, I didn't know he played pro ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. What position, you know?
I think he was like a shortstop.
All right, word. Look at that. We got some shortstop blood here.
So he, I don't like
figure it out
though, but like they never made any money. So I feel like the moment like your sport takes off and you start actually making millions, like when all the TV deals came in,
that's when more people come in to saturate that market, and they pick the best of that best.
Yeah, and then if you're a star, then you just start pounding whatever drug of choice you'd like.
Right, you have to.
Millions.
Well, not only that, look at it this way. Law of averages says that A, more people will be approaching it. B, with those more people, the freakish athletes are the ones going to stand out, the naturally good ones. Mm-hmm. And B, of those naturally good freakish ones, the ones that work the hardest and spend the most time on their craft will probably be the ones picked. And while that rate is going up, you also have the rate of money that's given to them. So your grandfather...
8-year-olds being like money thrown at them so they could become freakish.
Right, but that helps them when you think about it, because if you're an 8-year-old who has to worry about regular stuff, or even a 28-year-old who has to worry about regular stuff and have another job, they wouldn't be as freakish of athletes.
You're never going to be able to master.
Right, because you have another job. You literally, you have school, you have a home, you have a wife, kids, but if they paid you $4 million, you don't have to worry about another job, that's for damn sure. Mm-hmm. You can forego your far distant future for $4 million, right?
Yeah. Plus, it actually, the returns might actually be there. Someone like, you're going to like this name.
Oh.
Like a Billy Leno.
Billy! Oh, man. Buffalo Zone.
He had an amazing season, and then, I don't know what his point was in the playoff time. Yeah, he was almost like he's only point per game player.
Almost. And he actually did it against Buffalo.
Oh, that's why.
But Philadelphia Flyers. And then in the offseason, he was a free agent or a restricted or whatever he was.
To Buffalo.
For big bucks.
For $27 million over 6 years.
He scored like 1 goal in his first year.
Yeah. He did terribly, and he got let go after 3 years.
Not a good number.
So, yeah, so that's like $9 million a year.
Pretty good money.
Yeah. Sure.
I'd score an accidental goal. Do you think
one or two seasons?
Let's say you get forced to play in the NHL right now. And the coach will play you every game. You're not getting all the ice time in the world, but let's say you're third line player.
At my current skill level, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you also...
You're shitting yourself, yeah.
Right, but you're also playing every day, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's probably it.
Oh, let's mute that shit. Come to bed.
Yep. This is close. But let's say you have to get played. He's not going to cut your time, the coach, whatever. The fans can scream all they want. You're not necessarily getting paid buku bucks. And you play every game. You're getting better because you're also playing with pro athletes. You're probably training with them. You're eating better, and you don't have a day job. You're playing hockey. Mm-hmm. Do you think by the end of the year you'd be able to score a couple goals? What do you got in you? By accident. Come on. You're scrimmaging in front of the net. Let's say you survive. I don't know if you'd survive, but
I think I would get a couple. I would hope.
A couple. Yeah, you hanging out in front of the net, getting some garbage, digging it there. Do you think your drive and hunger would be greater than a lot of them because you're like an average Joe?
Yeah, check out these pipes again. No,
rounds, folks.
I feel like your muscles only have such a limit. Like when you're
okay, so you wouldn't be able to.
You get halfway. You probably wouldn't even get halfway. You get a few games in before you're like.
Sure, but it's not all muscle. I mean, look at Wayne Gretzky. He wasn't the muscle machine. Here, let's see what the answer was.
So you got to hope to be. Who the rookie was? Who scored the most goals?
No, that was
the Solani.
Yeah, Timo. No. I'm saying Wayne Gretzky was not the most muscular guy.
Yeah, he's a skinny little guy.
He scored 92 goals 1 year. You don't think you could get a couple that he was going to get?
I don't know. You got to know. You have to be able to just be able to see the ice and not be able to focus on anything else. So you got to be able to avoid people.
So you were talking about muscles. Why don't you just work on your focus on vision? Can you not learn vision, I guess?
I don't know. I suppose if someone gave you the shot to say you could make this work, but you have no skill right now, give you 1 year. If you just continuously skated, like if they gave you the option,
right. You're training with professionals for free. It's not like, it's up to you how hard you work and everything else. And I know your body has limits, but I imagine you could become an almost serviceable, like you'd be the worst player in the league still, but you'd almost be at their level because I think you rise to your level too.
And then people would be impressed by you, not oppressed, impressed.
Impressed by you. The UnPanderers go dark real quick, don't they?
They'd be impressed because you'd have it'd be like Rudy. Like Rudy was undersized.
Yeah. And he probably sucked. Everyone knows that, but he did play,
Heart.
I didn't see Rudy, so I'm just going with what I think happens.
You weren't.
He makes a play. Why? Whose class?
We watched this. We had the guy come in high school.
I know. I didn't go.
You didn't go to that because that was one of the most. No. That was a crowning moment of people going nuts.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought Rudy was dumb. all the followers just clicked unsubscribe. We love Rudy.
Yeah.
I just never. I don't know. I didn't like Rudy's.
I just remember
I never saw it.
Popcorn. We're in the gym. They gave us popcorn to watch the movie. It was the entire school, and like
everyone was throwing popcorn except for me.
At that scene, everyone was just going nuts, and there's that was great.
Is this at the ring ceremony I didn't go to and apologize for?
Apologize for? You got some backstory?
No. I never got a class ring because I couldn't afford them at the time. Right?
Really?
At the third year, everyone was clapping their boxes at brother.
Oh, that's dumb. I hate that stuff.
Wait, did you remember this?
Everyone
was clapping.
But that's dumb.
It is. And it caused a ruckus. And once like 10 kids start doing it, 30 kids doing it, now the whole school's doing it. And they were clapping the ring boxes at the guy, and he couldn't talk over them. And it was embarrassing for him. So there was an assembly the next day, and the entire school was invited. And he just laid into everyone on how it was embarrassing. You're better than this. You're going to be men of the world. We're teaching you to be men. How could you do this? And I raised my hand, and I was like, I just want to apologize for the rest of the class. And he was like, thank you.
You're a jerk.
And I was like one of the only people who didn't go to the ring ceremony at all. I was just laughing with all my friends, like, you like that? Like that? That's classic Nick, folks. Classic Nick.
It's one of the things you forget. Like, I don't remember the father, brother, whatever, for that was speaking, but I'm pretty sure nobody liked him. That's my assumption.
He was heavyset Starlight Express. You know what Starlight Express was?
No.
If you Google Starlight Express, it's like I want to say it's a musical about a little boy who comes into realization that he can be a man or something. I don't know, but it's got some overtones to it. Let's just say at one time he made a whole bunch of people. I don't remember if it was in my homeroom or somewhere else. And he was like, let's just listen to the music, gentlemen. And he played like the beginning of this song, Starlight Express, and everyone was like, "Oh no!" And he wanted us to listen to the whole song. What's interesting is I think everyone has this innate ability to know when other people in the room are not enjoying a medium, whether it's TV or music. If someone's in your car and you're playing a song and they're not enjoying it, you can feel them, their energy.
Yeah.
But anyway, he did not get that at all. He really thought we were all digging it. He made us listen to the whole song. I feel like it was like 5.5 minutes long.
I could feel like maybe like a chubby, heavy-set priest or brother or whatever his name was.
He
just like kind of like leaned towards the window and he's looking out the window.
And he's singing to himself. Yeah, exactly. That was him.
Memories of a past that didn't exist. Never gotten to.
Nope. I won.
So I guess I don't even know where we were in the topic chain. I'm sure there's a missed question or a story back there.
I think we should
move on to the main topic?
Yeah, I was going to say wrap it up because of a text I got, but nope, I'm going to play the gamble the other way.
We could pause it for the 10 seconds that you're going to be.
I'd be told no. Where's a condom? I don't know, it's behind the computer. What does it do behind a computer? It's hard to explain. It was our sponsor. Oh, life's funny sometimes, folks.
Are you sure you're good? Because we could probably cut it off.
No, let's just do a little bit of the main topic. Let's see how it feels.
I'm curious what the text said. I'm sure the listeners are curious too.
Okay, I was calling you, but now I'm going to bed. And it's weird. She never's like, oh, where are you? I need to know where you are. It's usually like, see ya. So the fact that it was like, where are you? I was going to bed. Wink, wink.
Are there winks in there?
No, that's why I'm like, if I go up now, it's too late. My gamble's over.
I think you lost your gamble, yeah.
I think so. And think of this then. What's the point of the text? Make me feel bad?
Probably.
Right? Well, you know what? Podcast away, folks. I'm pod-friggin-tastic.
Yeah. We should do a podcast about women, and then, I don't know.
Never let them. Yeah. Never publish it. Yeah, never publish ever.
Because all the women in the world are going to be like, oh, what did they say? Oh, you can't say that.
Can't say that.
Can't say that.
These men just won't pander, will they?
Stop. They're just like all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's funny is, do you think there's more women like that, or men who think like women, they belong in the kitchens? Like, you know what I mean? Like the overly sexist guy who like, what does she know about sports? You know, they're just like way over the top where you're like, mm-hmm.
So the comparison is men who feel like women should be in a certain place, and then the other one's women who believe men should be in a certain place. Right.
Do you think there's more of one or the other? Actually, I bet you there's more men who are sexist, like super sexist. I'm talking overly sexist, not like a little bit, like over the top.
I think so. I think men would be more outwardly sexist, whereas women might just be quietly, passively sexist.
Right. Well, there are some that are just like,
they just, they want a certain thing, and they're just hoping and hoping and hoping for it. And when it doesn't happen, their lives get crushed, and they have to adopt a bunch of cats.
Do you know how I said I was listening to that Shock Jock radio in Delaware on my way home today from vacation, folks? They had lesbians on, and this is entirely for the Shock Jock purpose. And I was totally listening the whole time because I was kind of enjoying it. 2 lesbians.
2.
One used to date men. One never dates men, hates men. Okay. One that used to date men and everything was like, I love my new girlfriend. We've been together for 2 years, but she won't try new sex toys. Which is whatever. Like, I don't know their relationship.
New sex toys? Like different ones?
Just, in general. Sex toys in general. Okay. And the other girl's argument was, well, I don't use sex toys because they're too reminiscent of men. And I was listening and I was like, what? And she's like, well, if you notice, sex toys are shaped like men, and I hate men. And I was like, whew, seems like a real winner here.
Lesbian and a feminist.
Right, and I don't care if you are, but like, she's literally saying, I won't use an item that's semi-resemblant of a man, which they all aren't, by the way. Aren't there like butterfly things and like whatever? Yeah. So, and on top of that, she didn't
the other way, lady.
She didn't want to please her own, like her significant other, the person she cares about most in her life. She didn't want to pleasure her more than she did want to be angry at men. Like she was like, I'm going to show men, but really she's just showing the person she loved. She didn't care for her. And I thought it went on for like 10 minutes, and they were trying to argue with her, and she's like, what if one was shaped like a woman's parts? And she's like, we just don't need things to make us feel better. I know what I like, and I think she should like what I like, which is nothing. It was like I was like, oof, I can't imagine being in that relationship.
I feel like that woman who is with her would want to leave.
right? It's almost like, come on. And I get people hate men. Like, cool. I hate men. I would never date a man.
There's some douches out there.
I wouldn't date a man. Would you date a man? I might.
Nah.
Right.
Just sort of about
Right.
money. No.
It's about money. I did a sugar daddy. But I would never be like so against one or the other that I would like it would control my life like that, you know?
Yeah, I just assumed that something happened in the past. There's something weird.
Do you know what she said? Hold on, what did she say? I wish I caught, it was like a 30-second blip where they were cutting in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she said when she was younger, she walked in on a relative of hers who was naked, and she immediately closed the door and said it was the most disgusting thing she'd ever seen, and she would never date men, and that's where her anti-male started.
Ugh.
How crazy is that?
How old do you think the person was? Like over 100?
She sounded like
I mean like the person she saw.
No, I think it was like her father or her brother or something. I don't even think they were doing anything to himself. I think she just saw a penis and was offended by it. It was disgusting, offensive.
I think that's where her memory blacked out, and then
Maybe
psychiatry took over.
Could be. Anyway, folks, if you are a lesbian, a gay, a straight, and in between, use whatever the hell toys you want, folks.
Whatever you're deciding, it's fine with us.
And choose whatever the hell you want in the bedroom. I don't care.
Yeah.
You can use shoes. You can use no prophylactics. You can use flip-flops. You can use
Stilettos,
sea
baby.
turtles.
Stilettos.
You like stilettos?
No, that's some. I'm just saying, it could be your fetish.
Hold on. It's weird that it came out of nowhere.
You said shoes.
Yeah.
I think I know exactly what you're thinking because I have that fetish too. Yeah, I know.
They seem like cumbersome.
Yeah, and then that's the first thing you got to take off. I don't know how you really get into the sack with stilettos on. That just feels painful.
I made love on rollerblades. I'll put it that way. While wearing. Sorry, I wasn't like sitting on them. I was wearing them.
You like the feel of rollerblades?
Oh yeah, that's what gets me. Those ABEC 5 bearings. Oh.
So smooth. I just greased them. So we're gonna move on to our next topic here, which is the main topic of the day. And
hey,
yeah,
folks, get ready to get dirty. Got something for you called medication and drugs. Should we try that again? We got some new topic for you. It's called medication and drugs. I wrote it.
Main topic of the day.
We're all stoked for it, folks. None of us are just kind of counting down the hours and minutes and seconds, and we're fading.
Yeah, we're fading out. Okay,
Let's do it.
Have you ever done a challenge? Like the cinnamon challenge where you try to eat a spoonful of cinnamon?
No, I did saltines.
How many saltines in a... Like,
you're supposed to get 8. I got like 4 and I couldn't breathe. I was like, ugh.
What's the trick? You have to supposed to eat them without water in a minute or something?
Correct. Yeah, it's a timer. I couldn't do it. Even close. I got to like even halfway of what the record is and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, impossible. There's also like the milk one. Gallon of milk.
Right. Just your stomach can't hold.
Mm-hmm. So there's inherently toxicity in everything, right? Like you can't physically eat certain things.
Not water, pal.
Not water. Strange you should pick that up.
Oh, shoot. Really? Oh, here we go. Let's dive in.
Yeah. So you actually can be, you can die from drinking, I think it was 3 or 4 gallons of water at a time.
Oh, is this the frat thing?
Well, I think there is a frat thing with
Hazing
alcohol, and then people try to make it up with water to balance out the alcohol. But there's also...
Well, I was under the impression that they weren't allowed to use alcohol because they were recently in trouble, so they were hazing with water. So they were like, chug rookie, chug pledge, whatever they call people. I was never in a frat. And they were like screaming at him, and I think they made him chug so much water that he had a brain embolism. And he died from water. This happened like 7-8 years ago, somewhere in PA, I thought. I don't know. It was like a big deal because, like, you can die from water.
Yeah, you can die from water. I don't know what the symptoms would be.
He had a seizure, I believe.
That all your...
Like, there was just so much water. I guess maybe his brain was drowning. I don't really know the scientific term for it.
I think that would mess with your like salt balance in your body, and then like things would start
Maybe.
going crazy. You'd
Right.
probably have, like muscle disorders, and then blood would start seeping into weird spots.
Right. Blood would do some weird stuff too. Thins out, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, Andy Warhol actually he died in the hospital, and they say that he gained something like 20 pounds of water because they had misjudged his IVs. Like, they kept giving him IVs. So he went in at like 160 pounds and came out at like 180 pounds dead. And they say you can't gain that much weight unless that much water is put into you. So they say instead of the surgery or whatever he had, he actually died from the amount of IV fluids that they gave him.
So nurses killed him, not doctors. Interesting. So nurses are the bad guys in hospitals. Is that what you're saying?
Unless they
all the nurse listeners.
Yeah, that's probably a surprising number of the population.
Probably. So what you're saying is even good things can be toxic? Is that what you're getting at?
I think so. Yeah, like sugars,
anything.
All the sweets of being diabetic, everything in moderation, right? I mean, maybe that's a good metric.
It's probably a good metric for all things, even mental. You can't go so deep into something. Like, I imagine there's got to be a sickness for people on like weightlifting forums on like page 832 of should I use carbs before I run and then work out versus a guy who says it's always proteins after a run, bro, but before you run. And then like, or after a workout, but before you run. And there's like page like 14 of the article. The triglycerol level gets too high. I notice I gain always 0.4% more muscle mass when I run after a protein shake. And like, if you just go too deep down any road, I was picking weightlifting for whatever reason. It seems like there's a sickness involved.
There's always like a contradiction, and people just ignore it.
Right. Well, it's a mental. You're so deep, you don't see. When you're that deep, you can't see the wider array of things.
You always see the bodybuilders with the shake. You know, they have some sort of protein in it. They've got some like creatine, and then they've got something else. And you know, if you think that like, I can always envision them like drinking from it after they pump some iron or during, but you never see them like eating anything else. Like somehow that, I wouldn't say it's a myth because it's probably somewhat true, but you never see them eating like a steak mid exercise. Like they don't have like a piece of jerky. Like like the key to getting muscles is eating beef jerky while you exercise. Like you never have a piece of jerky sticking out.
You might find them though. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure because there's going to be someone in the questions post that says I eat eggs in between my reps. You know what I mean? We'll be like, well, okay.
They down them with a shot of beer or something.
Straight egg out of a blender. I don't know. I just feel like anytime you go too deep into something, it
gets weird.
Because you're not, I want to say shallow enough, but what's broad? You don't have a broad enough array of intelligence or viewpoints to make sure you're not falling into a pitfall. Like, I don't know. Like you're so deep of weightlifting. Right. You're in it too deep. I don't know. It becomes religious. You become too boiled down to one point, and all your points are kind of in that one thing, so that the rest of your personality, the rest of your life is kind of flat.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to culminate all the myths that you hear. Like, it's a science of how you build muscle, but no one really knows.
Right. People know, but they don't know. And it's probably different for every person, too, which makes it always change.
Different body chemistries and stuff. And it's not like an instantaneous thing. People build muscle over time. And it's just like you're providing your body with these things. You just don't know really the proportions that you need. So people just go overboard.
Right. 100% agree. What I think, though, is we're getting too into bodybuilding because I did not plan on talking about bodybuilding. I was just picking bodybuilding at random because anything people seem to get too absorbed in, even if you go deep enough on hockey forums or something and you're like, they're talking about guys who are coming out of high school right now who have a Fenwick score of like 2.83 and their offensive zone draws are always resulting in a 1.94 back checkpoint. And you're like, whoa, we better relax. This guy's in high school. He might start a JL into anime and quit hockey, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's his first hockey game ever, and he's like, oh my gosh, he's got a Corsi score of like 1.
Corsi score, sure. I'm sure he does, and I'm sure whatever, but it's just people get way too
focused.
Right. You you bring the piece of paper so far up to your face that you can't see the rest of the paper. Is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna have a minor sidebar here. So I was looking at like these creatine drinks in my local smoothie place, and they say like they have flavors on them, and one of them's like berry, which is generic. I think another one had like champagne on it, and they had a bunch of names that were like some of them were trademarks, some of them were like asterisks. So they had a bunch of different symbols to say.
The taurine always has like a cross and something. Yeah, I know what you're talking
like
about.
This doesn't actually help you, and then like the one that had champagne on it was like this is not actually champagne. So I was like,
spell it for the muscle heads, man.
Why would you give your drink that flavor?
And then also have to have a cursor that says like, please, this also is not just champagne.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. That was probably my smirker smile for the day. I was just like, what the hell?
Gotta tell the people.
I had to get it off my chest. Because it was there and it was going to get lost. I don't want it disappearing because it's for you guys.
It's ether.
Mm-hmm. It's going to disappear back in the ether. But on the flip side, so people are trying to do these things with maybe overdosing, overdoing methods for betterment, I guess you would call them.
Mm-hmm.
So the strange thing is that, so this is going to get deep here. Let's go a little deep.
Okay.
So cancer, terrible disease.
I've heard.
And, the cures to cancer, one of them's like chemo.
Yeah.
So it's like it's intense.
Poison.
Yeah. It's poison for your body. It kills the cells
Sure.
that are rapidly being cancerous. They're generating, regenerating themselves really quickly. So where do you think that came from? How do you think they came up with chemo?
Do you know, or are you asking?
I do know, actually.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. I feel like it was an accident, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone had too much cleaning solution in their blood.
No. You could think it could have been like a cocaine or some sort of like accidental drug.
No, it wasn't going there, but go ahead.
So, but no, it became noticed during World War II. Is that people would get hit with mustard gas, and then the people who would survive the mustard gas, they'd see that their levels of like I think white blood cells or something that would rapidly grow became diminished, but they survived it. So they just had doctors on the side that were like, wait a second, like we could use this towards something. And then like 30 years later, they developed chemo out of mustard gas. So something that was intended to kill somebody
became a heal.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, I guess.
So they're really inflicting cures on
people. So the Germans were the good guys.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Let's not get too deep on our known hatred of the Nazis here.
Our Nazi hatred.
Yeah.
Should it be turned around? Were they really trying to heal people then with mustard gas?
I don't know. It did go off on some spiral that I wasn't going to touch on, but man, they did some crazy experiments to people just to see what their body would do.
Yeah. Because I didn't. Is that Goebbels? Or that was the general.
Who was the
general? Right. Then who was the scientist?
They had a bunch of crazy scientists, just like some terrible things. I kind of want to go into it now that I'm thinking about it.
Go ahead, because I don't actually know. So I'm going blind.
So there's like they intentionally amputated people to figure out like if they could survive things. So they did physical changes. They did chemical things. They did like
all that crap.
Yeah,
different kinds.
Yeah, they'd like hit them with different like acids and stuff to see if it would do whatever. I don't know. It's terrible. So they hit them with like fire, and then they would like lack of oxygen. They'd put them in these chambers that would suck out all the oxygen, and then they'd see how long they could survive.
Like Deadpool?
Yeah, exactly. Like Deadpool was in that oxygen-deprived chamber.
Yeah.
So they're like trying to test like what the human body can endure. Like some crazy, crazy stuff that really, there's much more, I guess, sane and I wouldn't say comforting, but like better ways to do it. But they didn't care because they had subjects.
Right. Well, I guess this goes to their ideology that anyone who was in their group of ring of hatred. Do you know if they even had differentiating levels of hatred? I know they hated the Jews. They were like they're animals, pretty much. They needed to get rid of them. So
as much as anyone that wasn't them, right?
But hold on. What about like someone from Dutch or something? That's
the part of the war you don't really hear about. Is that there probably was other groups.
Sure, and they probably dislike them, but not like to that degree, right? I don't know. Like, do they make delineations where this person's a Jew, or this person's but they're from a neighboring country. We don't like them, but they're not like that. Like, did they do that? I don't know. Or was it only Germans, only purebred, only like the white, fair-haired types? Because what about dark-haired guys in the ranks? Like, were they like looked down upon? Like, I don't know where their lines ran.
I don't know. You get the same sort of thing where, like, history likes to take like one point and just like drive it.
Polarization.
Yeah.
Polarization. A good guy versus a bad guy. There's no in between. There's no medium. There's no right. It's easier to tell a story that way
too. Since we grew up in America, I felt like America was like number one for the slave trade, but that's totally. I mean, I wouldn't say it's totally not the case, but there are definitely a lot of other countries during that time period involved in the slave trade, and it's not only from the African countries that they're pulling slaves from.
Right, I have heard this. Like, again, we're not
to diminish anything that happened. It's just,
no, not at all. Just there is more to a story, which is interesting.
Yeah. So the Nazis probably hated anybody that wasn't them. And then they're performing all these like nasty things.
Well, did they do all that? That's what I was going to ask. It was all Jewish people or no?
No. There was a number of different people. They would like perform surgeries without anesthesia.
African Americans? No. But on who? African Americans?
It's a variety of people.
Okay, so it was whoever. It was just anyone. It's like crazy. I guess
children. They would do this on children. Like they had twins, and they're like, "Oh, jackpot! We finally have twins. Like we can do these crazy experiments on." It's just like, guys.
What it tells me is that they literally thought they were kind of like animals. Because I mean, I can see people doing something like that to animals. Mm-hmm. What gets me is that it's not. When does it become your ideology? Like, because you're clearly not born like that. So is it just being a citizen, or once you join the Nazis, you kind of get this, or is it a whole? I guess it has to be a whole cultural thing, right?
I don't know, because I feel like maybe some of the scientists really want to know, like the science behind it. They don't. I don't know that they care about like you can be a psychopath and be a scientist.
Scientist, you're right.
So maybe they just find the scientists that are psychopaths, and they're like, go ahead, do it.
Now, what if they ask a scientist who like kind of had a conscience and was like, I don't want to do that. Like, does he do it, or does he say no, or does he risk getting killed himself?
Maybe they were forced into it. I did read up about Nuremberg trials, right, where they tried war criminals. There are some of the doctors that were involved in this that genuinely did not
do anything, really.
I wouldn't say they didn't do anything, but they didn't aid and abet. So they were let off and not found guilty of killing war criminals or prisoners of war, rather.
Okay, this is all very interesting, but I guess it also ties into today's stuff, like right now, where you get groups that are polarized so much that it's like they almost treat each other like not human.
Well, which groups are you talking about? You're going to get specific, or are you just going to go back to a...
No, I was being fairly general, just because the most staunch, let's say even in America, Republican will hate the most liberal, right? Regardless of the actual belief. It's more like that group is less than human, that group is always wrong, whichever side. But I guess the only way to justify what you're doing to another group, or voting against another group, or whatever to another group, is to think of them as less than human, right? Because otherwise, to do so would to break some kind of human code. Like, what I'm getting at is anytime you do something extreme, the only reason logically that you'd be able to do it to another group of people is if you thought they were less than human, and you were like a good guy. Do you know what I mean? I always come back.
I could see the good guy argument, like you're doing it for the betterment of the human race by finding out you're sacrificing one for many.
Right, which I wouldn't agree with. But again, that's the only way that I could see them functioning as a logical being.
I don't know if it applies to like left-wing and right-wing people, though.
Yeah, I guess they're not as extreme.
Yeah.
Could it apply to suicide bombers and stuff, though? They think that what they're doing is right. It's for the greater good, right? I think. I don't know.
I guess they're like the level of drama is their like impact. So if they have like the most dramatic suicide bombing that they could change,
and they convert the most people, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all weird. I don't get too far into that. I guess we're not the type of people who would ever be swayed one way or another.
Because we're moderates on that type of thing. Because we're not going to go swing left or right, and we're not going to go crazy on people. Because
we take things in moderation, in a way.
Uh-huh.
It's like those people kind of go all in on one thing, right? Mm-hmm. Which is unhealthy to come full circle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're all in on Allah, mix in some Buddhism, mix in some veganism, have a little bit of pet love. You know what I mean? Go to a golden retriever forum and check out what everybody's doing with the dogs. I don't know. Start weightlifting. I don't know. Do a little something else. Diversify your portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. Diversify. So if you're a suicide bomber, our advice as UnPanderers, diversify. Come on. Come on.
See the world, they said.
Check out The Sopranos. I don't know. Watch some cool TV. There's lots of good TV out there.
I could see legitimately someone enjoying something and being like, I don't think I'm going to do this to people. There could be a Tony Soprano out there that I don't want to.
Yeah, right? Well, anytime you diversify, you take in more viewpoints, more lines of sight, more opinions, more differing things than your own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Again, those people that are so uber focused on one thing and probably only read one type of information and listen to one type of leadership, mm-hmm. they become, I don't know, overzealous, over the top, unhealthy. Moderation, folks. Moderate the moderation. We just broke it down. Did we solve the world's problems?
I think we did.
Holy shit, Jeebus.
Man.
Woo!
All right.
Woo!
High note.
Folks, I'm jealous of me also.
Huh, interesting you should say jealous.
Oh, I didn't buy the shirt. In fact, it probably appeared on a previous episode.
No, actually, I don't think I've seen that yet.
Nice.
Do you know the difference between jealous and envious?
No, I do know Brad Pitt figures it out probably at the end of 7, but I still don't know. What is in the box? He enviously thought. Oh no, that's jealousy. He enviously thought. I don't know. Okay.
Do you know? The Simpsons actually, Homer says the difference between jealous and being jealous and envious. So jealousy is that you're afraid that someone's going to take something from you.
Mm-hmm. Envious, you want something that belongs to someone else.
Yeah, something you don't have.
Right. Well, sure. Okay.
So you can have envy because you don't have bars of gold.
But hold on,
you can't be jealous of people.
You're not jealous of your neighbor for having a better car? Is that called envy?
That's called envy.
Really? So it's a misused word, huh?
Yeah. So if you don't have a wife, you can't be jealous of someone who has a wife. You're envious of them. But if you have a wife,
and they have a better wife,
that they're going to take your wife.
Oh. Hold on. Is that backwards?
In the bedroom.
That doesn't make sense though. Hold on. You're jealous someone's going to take your wife?
Uh-huh.
That doesn't make sense.
It seems weird. Trust me.
Okay.
I did this too because I found out like 2 weeks ago and I was like, really? Are you sure? Internet? Are you sure?
Were you asking? Oh, I thought you were asking.
Yeah.
Are you sure? No. I can't do some impersonations. Don't want to end up sued.
So you should look into that.
Interesting.
I'm going to go back to the mustard gas, though.
Go for it. I'd like to hear more about mustard gas.
So that was like an accidental cure, right? And it was the same thing with penicillin. So
accidental cure.
Yeah. I think it was the guy's name was Fleming. He was working with something, and there was a fungus growing on his samples. Like he screwed up a petri dish and was like, "Oh, there's fungus on here. I'm gonna just. Oh, wait a second. This is
scrape it away.
Yeah, this is curing something." And then he made penicillin out of it.
And this is curing a disease.
Yeah.
Anyway, he figured it out somehow.
I'm gonna take a turn here though. So like he found a way to cure something by accident, and that probably happens all the time. It's kind of like
I think it does.
You're
always
making these random scenarios so that you can find a medication that cures something random. And I'm going to spin it. So there's people that have in the past like searching for cures for I think it was like stomach ulcers. They came up with aspartame
or something.
No, they didn't come up with a cure. They came up with fake sugar.
Oh, really?
And the way they came up with that is because they had like a cigarette, and they accidentally put the cigarette in the the stomach ulcer cream or whatever it was. Yeah, and it tasted so sweet, so they're like, wait a second.
Yeah. I like that they're just haphazardly smoking around the subjects, like while they're out of their cage and like just having a good time with them.
This is like back in the 70s, I guess.
You were allowed to do that stuff. Although, wouldn't have discovered it otherwise, right?
That's true, but I don't know if that makes it right, because it's not. It's like a manufacturing, I guess.
Sugar, sweetness.
Yeah, manufacturing sugar, but
which is already not good for you.
Yeah, there's no.
So an unnatural sugar.
Yeah, there's no cure to it. It's just unreasonable, I guess.
Makes sense.
The same.
What I was going to say. Oh, go ahead.
No, keep going. You got it. You're going to say something.
Nope, I forgot. In that 1 second span.
I apologize.
Oh, it was the light and dark of all things. You could do a whole podcast on it, but you're making, let's say, penicillin. Mm-hmm. I imagine there's a light side and a dark side to every single thing on Earth. Recently, I've been doing a lot of Buddhist research, so a lot of my thoughts, this is the way I think. Mm-hmm. Alan Watts, I'm saying.
So you're saying like the method that they found penicillin is there's the light side and the dark side is
overused, or I don't know. Penicillin was a bad example. Which was the one where someone was trying to make a cure for? Oh, mustard gas, the dark, and then the cure for cancer, the light. Like all things have a spectrum of good and bad, and it really depends on how they're used, how it's overused, how it's underused, what it's applied to, and so all things kind of have differing values. Like something like good for you, milk, in a small dose here, could be deadly at dose here. It could be very good to other animals. It could be really bad to certain animals. It kills them instantly. Like there's a light and a dark to all things. So they all have, you kind of find a balance. I don't know.
I like it.
Just kicking that. But mustard gas was my example when you were saying it a few times.
It's kind of a matter of perspective. It's like as a scientist, if you're testing something, you want to gather the data and make it as objective as possible. Because your perspective is, I'm trying to cure something, or I'm trying to fix something.
Science isn't that.
Yeah.
Science is just about measuring the actual data.
Mm-hmm. So someone later would come by and take your notes and say, it shows like you've cured cancer here, but you don't realize it because you're just trying to cure warts or something stupid. Like,
right. I'm going to use it to poison babies, or I'm going to use it to make a new sweetener for Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Diet Coke with 0 calories. Woo! But yeah, I guess it's all about light and dark a little bit. Mm-hmm. Which also brings me back to moderation, as I may say that word a couple times. That you can find something in the middle. Yeah. I just think going too far in one direction tips the scale, so to speak. It's nice to be able to see both ends. You only see it from the middle, right? I don't know. Unless, oh my God, the light gets so bright it turns dark, and the dark is so bright it turns light, and we got a friggin' circle. That's all I was going with. I wasn't going to go with Just some deep thoughts. Maybe it's too late at night. Maybe I...
Getting a little sleepy. Possible.
Mm-hmm. I did my vacation drive today. I hit no traffic, incredibly. I'm a really good driver, though, so that's probably why.
Let me bring up one more thing.
Do it.
So I was watching a Netflix show called Chef's Table. I was just distracting people.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Chef's Table.
One of the things they were doing in like the second episode was that peppers are originally like their goal is to get when a pepper makes itself, I guess I don't know what the word is.
Born. I know you wanted to say born.
I said born, but when it's made, it has the seeds, and the seeds are intended to be spread by birds, so they could proliferate.
Makes sense.
So the birds actually can't taste the pepperiness, like the spiciness, the capsaicin.
Huh?
So it's like nature's way of saying like birds are a perfect mate for the peppers.
So is whatever the spices and peppers supposed to scare other animals away though?
Exactly.
Just not birds?
The birds
I didn't know that.
The birds can travel the farthest.
Okay, so they want the birds. They don't want the other animals. They're garbage. They're worthless. They're stupid.
So there's some innate intelligence there that like the pepper, which doesn't have any intelligence, is trying to manipulate.
No, evolution.
Yeah, evolution. We'll just evolution it. But what what the chef in this one episode was saying was he was using chickens and they were eating like a puree of peppers, and he was trying to make an egg that was spicy without adding pepper to it.
Okay.
So he was getting these chickens to lay eggs that were full of capsaicin and pepper that were the color red.
Were they spicy?
Yes. So he got... I'll let that sink in.
It's
like no one ever tried this before.
So it worked.
It worked.
He's made a breed of spicy eggs, and you just have to feed these chickens
crazy amount
so
of peppers.
much pepper.
Yeah.
Like an inordinate amount that wouldn't be worth a spicy egg.
Yeah,
right?
But maybe who knows how much that spicy egg.
Right. What it's worth is what it's worth.
It's unique, and it doesn't hurt the chicken. So it's like, wait a second, like this kind of makes sense.
I never thought of doing that, and it gets enough of that through the birthing process.
Yeah, the egg was actually red, and they had the guy eat it on camera, and was like, "Ooh, like this is spicy."
Weird. He's like, this took dozens of years and thousands of dollars of peppers. What do you think? He's like, it's like if I had an egg and put a little pepper on it. Yes.
He's got it.
My life's work. But it is cool.
Yeah, the whole episode was about the manufacturability of plants and crops. So they want like the biggest is something that fits inside of this box so they could package it and sell it to the masses. And it was the opposite of that. It's like, why don't you just like grow something that tastes fantastic? And they're like, and
it's very few in supply and demand.
Yeah. And the farmer's like, well, no one's ever asked me to make something that tastes good.
No one's ever asked me to do something delicious.
Yeah.
That is weird because it's the opposite of capitalism.
Yeah.
So capitalism kind of sucks, by the way.
Yeah, in certain fashions.
I'm not anti-capitalist. It does suck in some ways. They all suck. Moderation, folks. Moderation.
Yeah. I feel like capitalism has this tiny little percentage that's like, ingenious stuff that should be happening and just showing the world what that stuff is.
Self-proliferative.
Sure.
That right. Sure. I messed up all those other words.
But then there's like 90% that's just bullshit. It's just like,
Oh, and it destroys poor people. Yeah. It makes the rich richer. Like, it screws up markets, whatever.
Let's allocate all the wealth to those people who can dictate what happens.
But otherwise, it's hard to allocate wealth in general. We're not going to get into it.
Yeah, we're never going to get. That's too. Nah. That's topsy turvy.
Slippery slopes, folks.
Yep. Don't want to have a hankering for that pankering.
Slippery, slippery, slippery.
All right. I think that concludes our episode for this evening.
I think it does. I'm Nick.
And I'm Dan.
Almost got you.
I almost said you.
Together we are both
the UnPanderers. Check our socials because we have a lot of them. There's a website.
Check the website.
UnPanderers.com.
Finger blast this website. Just go there and just get deep, get deep, get deep. Folks, do it. You want to. Go check it out. Tell your loved ones that are over 18 and we'll not repeat a lot of the words we say.
Definitely.
Because we like you, folks.
We definitely do.
We like you a lot.
Keep listening because we do.
We like you, folks. We like you a lot.
I think that's